episode 380. Episode 380.
Is it really?
As you guys can see, new location, man. 380. We almost at 400 already. Almost at 400. Hey, it's been a lot happening since we talked. We haven't talked since the album drop. We haven't talked since these P Diddy allegations. We haven't talked. We got a lot. We got a lot to discuss and go over. LSU versus Iowa. First of all, I already know when the viewership come back on that, it's going to be the most viewed women's college basketball ever.
Fam, Devin Booker dropped 50 last night. I didn't watch a single minute of it.
Yeah, it's different, bro. And even to the men's college basketball, bro. A lot of people not even keeping up with that.
No,
it's so competitive in the women's college basketball now, bro.
So many names, yo. These women are hooping like crazy. Like, I know there's like the fake race war going on. Like me, I'm just about hoops. Like I don't care. I don't really have a horse in the race. But like yo, first let's just start with the first game. Catlin Clark is unreal.
She's unreal.
She's literally like Steph Curry.
41, for them, like 41 and 12, and she had 15 in the first half.
She didn't sit down a single moment.
So yeah, and she's
run all over the court. I'm like, golly.
And she solidified herself. She's already one of the greats, but she solidified herself with that performance. And then also
she broke like 4 more records that game.
Yeah, and then the rematch with LSU, like she deserved that game. And LSU, they went crazy. Aja Reese had 17 and 20. Flage had 23. It just wasn't enough. In the beginning of the game, bro, changes and adjustments weren't made. You have to get the ball out of Catlin Clark's hands. Yep. It's simple as that. She's the best player. You got to limit her on shots. Let somebody else beat you in that game. That's what the problem was. First, it was transition defense for LSU. Then the second half, like Haley is a good player. Don't.
Yeah, I don't think LSU was a good fit for her.
She's a good player.
She's a good player.
But matchups. Flage should have been guarding her the whole game. Flage usually is guarding the most dominant offensive player most times. I don't understand why, or at least double her. At least double her or box and one her, deny her the ball and let somebody else beat you.
I think it was a conditioning thing. Because they knew they were going to need Flage on offense. I honestly don't think anyone would have stopped Catlin Clark because they couldn't stop her last year. I think Mulkey said that. He said we couldn't stop her last year. She had 30 points on us last year.
Yeah, she's tough, but also if you see how the game was going based on the first half and the second half.
In the second half, she was really cooking.
You try to let her get her momentum.
You had to find something different to do. I will say that because she was just firing off. She was hot. It wasn't so much Van Litter's fault because she played less minutes than all the starters. So it just seemed like it was Haley's fault. She played less minutes than all the
guys. She got 30 put on her, bro.
Yeah, because it was like, but it wasn't just her. Like she was coming off screens and all so something else had to have been done. Like a double, do something.
But it is her too, Hugh. When you continuously going under the screen against a shooter.
Yeah,
that's what she was doing. You got to go over the screen, and I feel like she needed a more aggressive player to guard her. Yeah. But nevertheless,
they should have ran a zone because I think if you double her, because you have to remember she's a great passer.
Yeah.
So I think you double it, then you run the risk of that. She's gonna find that open person.
I would rather her make the pass and rely on the other person.
That's
to score
true. Yeah.
Than her
I would rather do that. I would rather make someone else beat you.
And not just compare her to like we said, the Steph Curry, but it's deflating when somebody hits a three almost 27 to 30 feet out, and they doing it repeatedly. It's deflating as a defense, bro, and as a team. So if you're not gonna guard up. Like I feel different. Like some changes needed to be made. And
don't make no mistake, we're not saying she's Steph Curry. We're saying the way for the women's league in college, the way she plays, she's 100% their Steph Curry. Like Haley was picking her up at 94 feet. You have to do that with Steph. She was chasing her all over the court. Mm-hmm. You have to do that with Steph. She's pulling it from like 30 feet out. That's what Steph does. So it's like I was laughing with my homies last night. I was like, I bet the women, WNBA and the NCAA were looking at the men, the NBA like, dang. I'm glad we don't have to deal with nobody like Steph in our league. Well, yes, you do now.
And she's so competitive, bro. So that's why I really respect about her. She's competitive and she's a complete scorer too.
Yeah, my friend was like, you think she's gonna be able to? She's not gonna be able to do that in WNBA. Yeah. Like, why not?
Why not?
She's like because I'm like, there's no one like he was like, because there's no one in the NBA like Steph. I was like, there's no one in WNBA like Catlin Clark. I was like, there will be next year. Mm-hmm. I was like, they're gonna have to get ready. They've never played against like same when Steph came into the league. Mm-hmm. They had never faced anybody like that. It was pulling from deep, shooting like that. They had to adjust to that man's game. The WNBA, whether they know she's coming or not, they have not had to deal with it.
And it's been hoopers in the history of women's college basketball and WNBA. You got Maya Moore, you got Candace Parker, you got Breonna Stewart, you got Skylar Diggins. The list goes on.
And on and on.
Cheryl Sweeps, to
Sue Bird,
to
Kelsey Plum, Sue Bird.
You got so many, but all of them not at once. Now you have it's where it's competitive to where we had this the last 4 or 8 teams is Juju, Paige, Kaylin, Angel Reese.
Shorty from Texas is a bucket.
And then the girl from South Carolina, number 12, the point guard for Welly.
Cameron Brink, Steph Curry's goddaughter, whatever.
Buckets, bro. Buckets. Even the
a lot of big names, man.
The girl from number 10 from NC State. Who just
yo,
filthy.
She's like that.
Filthy, bro. So it's so much talent now.
These chicks have been hooping. So I'm looking forward to that. In the other matchup, you had Paige Buckers versus Juju. I think that was more of a complete. I think that was just like a team loss. I don't think it was a. But I can't say in the first one you can definitely say Iowa. I mean, Catlin Clark beat LSU. I feel like in this one, it wasn't like Paige Buckers beat UConn. I mean, beat USC. I think it was UConn beat USC.
Yeah, and
they all played very well.
Too. So even though that Juju, she got her bucket, she gonna get her bucket. They
made it tough for her though. That's
29
for sure.
to 10, but she went 9 for 25.
Yeah.
So that matters in the concept of the game, and you getting the ball out of her hands, bro. Like, yeah, she gonna get her buckets, but getting the ball out of her hands. I feel like what UConn did on defense is what LSU should have did with Catlin Clark.
Yeah.
You gotta limit the shot attempts, bro. If she's getting up 23s a game, she's making 9 to 11.
She shot 50% from those. She shot 50%.
Come on.
What I did like to see was I love seeing Paige and Juju guarding each other. That one little 5-minute span where that was happening and they were trading buckets. I was like, that's tough.
And it's tough.
I love seeing that.
It's even crazy because Juju is a freshman. Like her game is so years in development.
All time in sports, right? And for freshmen now.
Yeah, I think she's going to be the one who breaks Catlin Clark's record. The way or the pace that she's going. Yeah. Because you think about Catlin Clark, she's been good throughout her college career, but she's mostly went crazy these last 2 years, where she put herself on the map.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Because I didn't hear about it till like last year.
Yeah, I didn't hear about her until like last year for real. I know she's probably been going crazy, but now she's on a whole other level.
And the way she looks, you wouldn't think she was like the best player in college. When I first saw her, I was like, her? And then I saw her play, I was like, oh,
she different.
Her.
She different.
Cause Juju, I look at Juju, I was like, she looked like she nice. Juju looked like she nice, and she is. Like the way she played, she's really tough, yo.
She really played like one of the dudes, like off the crossover, the hezzy. Like there's just the body.
Her hezzy game is crazy.
The body movement, but and speaking about Catlin Clark, I do feel like this was a great offer. Ice Cube put out there. Ice Cube offered Catlin Clark 1 year, $5 million. I think that's a great offer. Even though if he didn't think that she was going to take it, it's still a great offer because it moves the women's basketball in the right direction.
Yeah. What I don't like now about Cube, what I've been seeing is the WNBA might be their own worst enemy because there's been a lot of hate for Catlin Clark coming from former players and current players, and it's like so. It started with Cheryl Swoops on Gil's podcast saying that she was hating on her beating Kelsey Plum's record, saying she didn't do it in the same amount of time, and this and the third. She's not going to play that well in WNBA. Well, first of all, she did do it her senior year, like Kelsey did. You can't fault her for the COVID year. It's like, why are you even saying it? What is that coming from? Then the Lex, I forgot her name. She was also on Gil's podcast, Lexi something. She was upset about, the Cube's offer of saying, like, you was telling me you couldn't find no other woman in the last 7 years to make this offer to. Like, what's wrong with going overseas and making money? And it's like, and O'Shea had to set her straight. Like, first of all, I was like, well, no, because in the last 7 years, women's basketball has not been this popular. You asked for it to be this popular. It's here now.
Correct.
So don't hate on her getting the offer. And secondly, what O'Shea was saying, like, you're misquoting what he said. What he said was, this is an opportunity, because this is a real league. This is an opportunity for them to make money, like Lisa Leslie did. Like, I forgot some other WNBA legend did something in the Big Three, where you don't have to go all the way overseas to make more money. Now you can play here out of the season and make money. That was his whole thing. So I was like, I didn't like to see that. I'm like, y'all are gonna ruin what y'all been asking for this whole time. Like, champion this girl. Let her come into the league with grace and not feel like, these women are jealous of me and hating on me. Like, whatever deal she gets, even if it's not you, it moves women's basketball forward.
Fact.
So that was my issue with it. Like, the deal is fine, but I didn't like the backlash she was getting from WNBA players. And it's like you shouldn't.
And backlash in general, because what I've been hearing a lot too is that she can't ball with the man or she can't do this with the man. Why not? We're starting to see this is the change. Like we said, this is the change. Do I feel like it could be a full-on game? But the Big Three has different concepts.
Yeah, that was their thing. The way they play the game, they don't think she can. Yeah. She's not gonna be able to play.
But it's totally different though. And also, when you got game, you got game.
That's for sure.
That's one thing that stands out for sure is that if you got game, you got game. I don't think it should be a certain limit to.
You can shoot. You got game. You got game.
I do respect him offering that to her as well. I get.
And it got leaked, which was trash. He didn't want it to be.
But I get it where people was just like, okay, well he could offer anybody else. You have other players.
But she's like clearly the hot commodity. She's the best player. Commodity. She's the hottest women's player right now. Why would not? Yeah, it's a marketing move. Why would not offer her? Like. It just makes the most sense.
I get the business. I like the business. And honestly, if I'm Catlin Clark, what would I do? Honestly, I would think about it or consider it or take it because, and it's not just solely about money, but also when you think about the WNBA, she's going to get this during for endorsements. She's going to be endorsed,
and it's not during the WNBA season.
But I'm just talking about as far as the aspect of business. Then I can see the move. I can see why that move would be made. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, it's just for fun because at the end of the day, I don't think the WNBA is not going to just, okay, say if she does take the deal, not going to be like, okay, well, you can't come over here. Oh, no, these are dollars. These are more dollars.
Because the women, they play overseas out the season. So it's the same thing. The Big Three doesn't play during their regular season. Mm-hmm. So she'll be able, if she wants to, she could do both. But yes, I mean, it's a move, right? Yeah. Shout out to Paige Buckers. Because she definitely, I will always champion folks that openly talk about Jesus on television. A lot of athletes don't do that, but there are some that do, so I like that. And I saw her 2019 ESPY Award speech. She took the time to like really champion and highlight all the black, women in basketball. I was like, oh, that was definitely gave me more reason to root for her. So I'm excited for that matchup, her versus Catlin, and then
before we get off of
South Carolina and NC State.
Who you got going? Who you got? Iowa, UConn.
I'm gonna go with UConn. Just because I want to root for Paige, but I wouldn't,
And don't forget who their head coach is. This Gino Atkins. This is 23 Final Fours.
There was a
12 championships.
There was a point in time where UConn women were just they were the most dominant. They would smack teams.
Recently too, because Breonna Stewart won all 4 years that she just went. So that was 2010. Then you had Ryan Moore.
There's a different team because last year Paige was hurt all year. She tore ACL. Right. So now that she's back, it's like you can see this is a whole different team. Like when she's playing. But yeah, there was a point where UConn women basketball was just they were smacking teams. It was nobody beating them. That you knew who was going to win every year. There's no point of. That's why nobody watched women's college because you weren't. Who was beating UConn? Yeah, nobody was beating UConn around that time. Nobody was. So nobody was going to watch them. I think any coach you play for them.
I don't know. You may be right. It was a lot of greats that came.
But there was a point in time where nobody was beating UConn, man. But yeah, I'm gonna go with UConn on this one. And on the other side, I want to pick South Carolina, but NC State is just the men and the shout out to DJ Burns. He can hoop. The men and the women. I'm like, they're not supposed to be here, and they're here.
That's my sleeper, and UConn on the other side, man, too. But yeah, that's my sleeper pick right there. I want South Carolina.
She went there on University of Washington.
I might have NC State sneak out a upset.
Yeah, it's just been insane. Speaking of basketball, before we move on. Rajon Rondo officially retired today. Definitely a guy that was my favorite. One of my favorite player. Definitely top 5 favorite players that I always love to watch. Rondo, he was the original modern day Mr. Triple Double. Mm-hmm. Before Russell Westbrook, before Luka and Joker and all those guys, Rondo was putting up great 17, 18, and 24. He was putting up crazy numbers. He was so nice. I can't even. I didn't even want to get into it. Rondo was one of one. I don't know if he's first ballot because the rest
I got him being first ballot,
but he's definitely going in. 2-time NBA champ, All NBA 13, 4-time All-Star. Yeah, definitely led the league in assists 3 times. Led the league in steals 1 year. 2-way player. One of the best minds. I hope he joins the Celtics staff and coaches, but one of the best basketball minds.
Out of the world. You're right. And then
shout out to him.
And that was the time where the point guard, it was a lot of true point
guards. He was a true floor general. Guards.
And it was very rare that you got a point guard of his caliber that can do a multitude of different things and then just had to rely on scoring. Because he was surrounded by scores. OC. It was bro, I remember 2010 he had
To this day, there's only been 2 other guys that had 24 assists in a game. I don't think anyone's had more than 24 since then. I can't think. But I remember looking at that stat line today. It was like he had like 10,
the one I think
18, and 24 assists. I was like, good lord.
Tyler Burton. I think it was Tyler Burton. He was the most recent. My bad.
He had 24?
Yeah.
That's good. 24 assists is insane. That's mad. That's mad buckets being distributed.
Yeah,
like,
that's crazy.
That's a lot of buckets being given.
All right, quick question before we get off of basketball. Who would you take on your franchise, on your team right now? Prime D Rose or Prime Westbrook? Prime D Rose or Prime Westbrook? You got to start a team. You got to pick one of those two for your point guard. I'm definitely saying Prime D Rose.
I think I would take Prime D Rose.
Prime D Rose was unbelievable. Y'all
I would take Prime D Rose. Yeah. It's not as easy as you think. You're talking about 2 of the most athletic point guards you ever seen.
Yeah, for sure. But Prime D Rose, bro,
because on the other side, you got to think Prime Russ was an assist leader. He was
that's triple double king Russ. That's Prime Russ, I would say.
Yeah, he led the league in assists a couple times. The league score like so.
D Rose was just electric. Like I don't even know how to explain
I think I would take D Rose because seeing Russ play, it doesn't result in wins a lot. It's like he plays a lot of hero ball, and I think with the dynamic of my current. I'm talking about my current team. With the way I think about the Celtics, I think D Rose would be a perfect fit in there.
And D Rose had everything. Not saying Westbrook didn't. Yeah. I'm talking about everything, bro. The package, the in and out, the finishing, the shot, the efficiency, the plus minus, the explosiveness. Like he
had everything but a decent coach.
Like he was 1-on-1.
A decent coach that took him out that game.
Because that was the end right there, and it's unfortunate because Prime D Rose, based on his age, is really not prime. Like where his age wasn't really in prime. He was only like 21, 22, 23 during those years where he won MVP. The youngest MVP.
I think he's currently like the 3rd most likable player, voted the third most likable player in the NBA.
Because D Rose is the most humble, chill. He was never in no mess. Never in no mess. Speaking about mess, all right, no Diddy. No Diddy Hugh. No, we're going to talk about it. No Diddy. All right, since we haven't talked on here recently, P Diddy house raided in New York, LA, Miami. All right. The search was led to be allegedly charged with like sex trafficking, drugs, firearms. One thing that I took notice about this situation that it's a lot of people quiet. It's a lot of people quiet in this situation.
I think I understand why though.
Like I understand why too, because look here, you say too much, then you get caught up.
But not only there's that, and it's like I think when the feds are sniffing around, like, do you want people to say a bunch of stuff?
Oh nah, yeah.
But I was listening to Cuomo. Cuomo. I forgot his first name. I have to find him on Twitter. But Cuomo was talking. He think this is a lot of nothing. And the way he talked about it, because he's in like. He used to be on CNN and do that type of stuff. I was like, the way he talked about it, I was like,
I think it's honestly, bro. I think it's a lot that is going on within this situation.
I don't think it's a legit case.
No, but listen, I think it started with with Diddy suing the companies as far as Deleon.
It started looking more like that.
Then after that, it trickled down to Keefe D. The one
Cuomo.
This the one who got. I know you're talking about the one who. Then it went to Keefe D, the one who got arrested on Tupac's murder.
Yeah.
Then it went to Cassie. Then it went to this little Rob producer dude. But also, it's just been a sequence of events that keep on happening. And one thing that's one thing I always say is that everything in the dark comes to light. So what is to be is to be. But one thing I don't like about this situation, is that we always play the race game, especially in the black community. Oh well, nobody said nothing about this white dude who was doing all this certain stuff. Right is right and wrong.
Right is right and wrong is wrong.
So whatever they're identifying with, whatever is going on within their situation, it is. If it's wrong, then it's wrong.
Yeah.
All right. So it's simple as that. Like I don't really like move the goalposts as far as like just based off of that race. I believe Dan Snyder, he needs to be in jail. If he did those things, and we seen him do those things, they got a whole documentary on him. He wild. I agree with what he.
I did finally watch that. I'll give my thoughts on it.
Crazy, and then I do feel like if Diddy is to do any of the things that he's alleged of, then
if he did those things, he gotta go to jail.
And then a lot of the things had to do with minors. Look,
my thing is always with hip hop is like, listen, I understand, but hip hop needs more accountability because we can't say free the guys if the guys did what they did. It is what it is. You know, same thing with the Young Thug thing. If Young Thug is responsible for 50 murders in Atlanta, then you can't be like free the guys. Like, what are you talking about? You have 50 people killed.
You gotta keep.
My only thing is like listening to Chris Cuomo. He was like, "Yo, the feds do not come like that. Raid your house, 3 houses, and do not make an arrest." I was like, that was telling. I mean, Diddy is literally in Miami, just chilling, walking around. I'm like. That says a lot. Yeah. I'm like, the feds don't come like that, do all that, and not make an arrest. Like this dude shouldn't be this comfortable after a Fed raid. You know what I'm saying? So a part of that makes me look at this a little suspicious. Like, and he said something that really hit home. He said hip hop right now is the boogeyman, the perfect boogeyman for the feds. Because it's taking over the culture, and right now they're like an easy target to make people look a certain way.
And one thing about it, in a lot of the reports, they was alluding to Diddy being a rapper. He's never been really a rapper. He's a producer. It was just a lot of little things. But what my problem is just that if those things
are true, then
and if those things are true, then he deserves whatever's coming to him. It's simple as that. Like I don't want to move the goalposts based on what's going on with somebody else.
If he did those things, then
at the end of the day, if these people are doing nasty things behind closed doors, they need to be held accountable. That's how I feel about the situation.
However, the jokes on Twitter have been hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. They've been hilarious. Andrew Schultz is funny. Oh my god.
That stand up.
Andrew Schultz is hilarious. Like that's a dude that's funny. Like there's certain guys. Like when you're funny, it don't matter the situation. You can make something funny, and this is like something that's been happening very recently. So I know he ain't had like a set of jokes that he already had months ahead. He's like these are new jokes. Like for him to be able to come up with these new jokes, like that's a guy that's funny.
He is. Funny.
He's funny. It don't matter. Yeah, like in the moment, he's funny. Same thing with like Kevin on stage. Like the way like if you funny, you funny.
And it all goes back to what Cat Williams said at the beginning of the year. In 2024, all the truth will be revealed. All the truth will be revealed, and we just looking to see it. Because I see a lot of people getting mad about people commenting on the situation. Everybody's going to have their views on the situation. You know, let bygones be bygones. Everybody's going to have their opinion. But I see people getting upset at it's the one thing that upset me. It'd be so many people over here be like, oh well, he did this in the conspiracy bag, and then when it actually happens. Oh no! Well, y'all didn't do him like that. Y'all didn't get him out of the way like that. You ain't talk about Weinstein like that. I mean, what?
People did talk about Weinstein.
You know what I'm saying? It's right. It's wrong. It's wrong.
And Harvey Weinstein's sitting in jail.
Right? That's how that goes. It's right. It's wrong. It's wrong. And anybody was complicit in any of those things, then hey, look, it is what it is.
And not to say that those things don't happen unfairly. Like. They the bank, what was it? Chase Bank canceled Kanye, but they didn't cancel Weinstein. So those things do happen, but like you said, right is right and wrong is wrong. You know, it's like if Diddy did these things, then you know that's first of all it's insane. You think about the stuff they're accusing him of. If he did any of it, that's insane. So he would definitely need to sit in jail for a long time.
And Hugh, how I feel about a lot of people coming out, and talking and expressing themselves.
It's been blowing.
It's a lot of cloud chasing because
y'all held on to these stories. Y'all held on to these stories this whole time.
10, 20, 30 years.
And now when it finally happens, but I had this one time. I'm like, oh, come on. You held on to this story this whole time, bro. Really? You're telling me Diddy drugged you at your house and you did this wild thing and you held on to that this entire time and told no one until this very moment?
To this moment where
this very opportune moment?
I'm about to say opportune where everybody's suing them, where everybody's looking for a money grab, so
like, come on, yo.
And that doesn't dismiss. If it happened, we're not dismissing that. We're talking about...
It's just like the timing of it.
The timing of it, bro. The timing. As soon as something happened, I seen Columbus Short coming out and talking about what happened. I'm like, oh,
bro, come on, bro.
Come on now. We could have known this years before. We wasn't talking about that. And condolences. This was tragic. And this happened the same day the P Diddy raid happened. The Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore collapsed. Tragic events, bro. Like one of my worst fears, bro, is bridges and something like that catastrophic happening. And I just want to say rest in peace, condolences, because that was an unforeseen event. And
I was just saying,
it was crazy how all of that just happened. And one thing that startled me is that I never noticed. Like, is it cameras everywhere? Like, who was recording it?
They got traffic cameras, so the traffic cameras is probably catching stuff like that.
Because it was instantly, like, I seen so many videos of it. I'm like, dang, like, how is this being recorded?
Traffic cameras is everywhere, and they got good. I mean, you would definitely want to have a camera on a bridge. Mm-hmm. You know, you want to be able to check things out, especially if stuff happens on the bridge. You want to be able to catch good footage of it. But it was a lot. You got some folks that don't really believe that it was staged or it wasn't staged. I don't really get into that because the lives being lost is the biggest thing for me. What I do know, what I did hear is like it was like they said the boat was going in and out of power, mm-hmm. and they put a mayday out because the boat was getting. That's why there's only 6 people on the bridge. Mm-hmm. Everyone couldn't get off, unfortunately, but they had cleared the bridge because that mayday alert was going off. So to see it just run into the bridge like that was insane. Yes. Like happened right like an hour from us. We live in Maryland, and so that happened in Baltimore. And shout out to the mayor because the mayor has been holding it down, and everyone, all the government officials in Maryland have been doing a good job responding to the ridiculously of the media and the stuff they've been bringing up. It's just like, why are we talking about?
But I love how you responded. You're sitting there talking to me about a bridge. We're looking.
There's people in the water that we haven't gotten out yet,
and we're trying to make sure that they're good. And that's all we're worried about is getting the people that are in the water that have just experienced something like catastrophic. You talking about building a bridge and how long it's going to take to build a bridge, man? Come on now.
Nobody has time to worry about that.
I loved his response, and he did it professionally. But it's just like what I mean. That just goes to show you like how we are as a whole as a society. More so focused on things that have no value instead of lives that are just have been lost. That's crazy. That was a crazy situation. But yeah, condolences to everybody because that was outrageous. Dollar Tree raising prices, bro.
I saw that.
Raising price to $7.
$7 is nuts.
That's crazy. How you gonna call it Dollar Tree anymore? You can't call it Dollar Tree. And I know they're probably talking about certain items, bro. But that's why I used to hate going to with much respect to them, but I didn't like to go to Dollar General because I'm like, it's Dollar General. It's things that's $5, $6, $7, $10 in here. The whole point of the dollar store is
it's supposed to be
a dollar.
Yeah, my fault. The Diddy's baby mother, Justin Combs' son, mother.
Oh yeah, I know. I just
complained about
the raid and what happened. Look here.
But yeah, like $7 is nuts because it's supposed to be this. That's the whole point of this. The whole point is the Dollar Tree. And I don't know. I guess they feel like but I don't even want to say. I don't know how the business metric works, but I don't think you're supposed to be involved with inflation because whether the economy was the way it was, how it was or how it changed, the Dollar Tree was always everything was $1, and it still survived like money wise. I'm not sure how. I don't know why I don't know why that establishment think that they need to raise their prices.
Absolutely not. All right, I'm about to say you've been striving for years.
Yeah, I don't know why you think you've always been $1 and you've been fine because everything's $1. So it's like I feel like you'll lose business now because you're raising everything to $7. Like if anything, I don't know.
Hey, somebody said, "Hey, look here, Five Below." Hey, look here, ain't nothing wrong with that Five Below too.
So, you just gotta find a Five Below. Yeah, Dollar Trees are usually
that's true. Dollar Tree
more accessible. They be like they in your neighborhood for the most part. You gotta go to like a shopping center to go to a Five Below. That's the only downside.
Come on, man. I remember the Dollar Tree days, man. Dollar Tree days. You can get a whole meal out of. I used to get a whole meal out of Dollar Tree, and a lot of these Dollar Trees got freezers. Like had the piece. Oh no.
No, they ain't got a Dollar General in my neighborhood anymore. They haven't had a Dollar General in my neighborhood in 10 years. It turned into the either the T-Mobile store or it turned into the MedStar Health joint.
A lot of them been running out of business. I'm talking about like the Dollar Generals, and that's the main reason because, like you said, the affordability, the price point. The whole purpose of the store was for it to be $1.
Yeah,
that price point was crazy. Hugh, I want to know your thoughts on this. Migos, Offset just came out and said, "Hey, Migos," and he should rightfully feel like that. He said number 2 of all time.
Hip hop, you're not trying to be competitive. You're not trying to be the best. Then, what are you in it for? So I have no problem with them thinking they're the best, but of this generation, they're definitely the GOATs, the go-to group of this generation all time. I mean,
I got Migos.
I'm still taking Outkast. I'm still taking Wu-Tang. I'm still taking Tribe. I think probably still take Mobb Deep, but that's probably closer than people want to admit. But yeah, they're up there for sure.
I think no matter what, Migos are a top 10 group of all time.
Yeah, for sure.
They're in that 10. They're in that 10. And if I'm saying a general one, for me, they get in that top 5, but it's tough because I would say First is Outkast. Then I would have Wu-Tang. Then I may have Bone Thugs-n-Harmony personally for me.
Bone Thugs-n-Harmony.
Then if you go on a big, like a grand scheme, you might have to throw in Run DMC. Just for the cultural purposes, like what they started.
Gangstar.
Gangstar.
I think they. Well,
I think for us,
hip hop purists might put Gangstar above that. I think they beat up.
I think for me,
Gangstar.
I got the Migos in my top 5, right? And if they are 5, that's fine with me. But I do think they have changed the game in such a way. It's totally different, bro. It's totally different. It's just how like we view Steph Curry today, how they changed the landscape, how he changed the landscape of basketball. That's what the Migos did for rap and for a long period of time as well too. Like primarily, almost the whole 2010s were Migos.
Yeah, and they were independent.
Yeah, facts.
Now watch this, y'all. You got to go with the Hot Boys.
I don't know about that. That's close though. I may say the Migos.
I think I would take the Migos.
I may say the Migos, and then
they had a longer
because
stint.
They had a longer. Yeah, I'm about to say they had a longer stint as a group, and I wouldn't be biased in that. I would probably take the Migos, bro. And you have so many groups that we can name. That
I think you could name a lot of groups before you name the Hot Boys. The Hot Boys is great, but there are groups we can name
because it's a longer stint of time too, bro. Yeah, like we didn't even get to go to Dipset. We didn't. You know what I'm saying? We can go so many state property, like so many groups and. It gets tough. I don't think you can leave them out the top.
Of this generation, for sure, they're definitely the best. Now, I will say there hasn't been that much competition as far as groups, but regardless, they're still the best. Like I'm taking them over the ASAP Mob because the ASAP Mob only really had Rocky and Ferg. I'm taking them over Ray Shremmer. And Ray Shremmer was nice. They're like that, but
they still Migos stand.
Groups is almost like a dead thing nowadays. Like you don't really see, especially trios. They were the last trio for sure. I don't know if we'll ever see a hip hop trio again. I just don't think hip hop. It's just so rare now. I don't think anyone's waking up saying they want to be in a hip hop group anymore.
It's very rare.
You got those 2 girls that be doing their thing. I forgot. I mean, not the City Girls, but forgot those names. Those other 2 girls, they're really silly. I forgot their name, but yeah. But I don't think you want to see trios.
It's not too many groups out here that's like really doing it. That's what kind of set them apart too.
Yeah, and if you do their duos, they're not trios. Like they were like the last trio the last 10 years.
More groups were like 90s.
The Locks. You forgot about the Locks.
I said the Locks.
They might not be top 5 because I forgot about the Locks. The Locks are definitely in there. They might be 6.
Yeah, that's why I say solidified. They are in the top 10. 5 is it's difficult to narrow down because you gotta. It's ones that came before them that's out of this world. We didn't even probably say NWA. I think you probably did say NWA, but
I said Wu-Tang. I forgot about NWA.
Like, come on, then you gotta think about NWA.
Yeah.
Like it get.
That's a tougher list than he thinks.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think he considered everybody.
No, I think he did. He actually gave respect to. When Offset does the interview, he did. He gave respect to Bone Thugs, the NWA, and Outkast. He said Outkast is one. It's just hard. I respected his response too because he didn't live through all those eras. Yeah. So like Run DMC and stuff, he didn't get to see them or have an understanding for him. He said the Locks too, but it's difficult. It's difficult. Talk about your experience, bro. You just had an amazing experience.
Oh yeah. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about that.
So Sunday night, I went to the Boss concert. If you don't know who Boss is one of Dreamville's first artists. One of the people J. Cole signed when he knew him when he was like going to school in New York. So when Dreamville first came out, like about 2014, he was one of the first people you probably heard on Dreamville. He just put a 4th album out in December of last year called We Only Talk About Real Ish When We're Effed Up. I'm a huge Boss fan. I've been a Boss fan since about 2016. Too Hot to Riot is like one of my top 5 favorite rap albums ever. Like huge Boss fan. So I went to his he's on tour. I went to his concert on Sunday. It's my second time seeing him. It's my first time seeing him at the Fillmore. Which means his audience has grown. So shout out to him for that. If you're going to Dreamville, definitely go check him out. So I went and obviously went and had a great night. Watched him perform, watched the whole set. So then he does his last song and then he leaves. And I've been to mad shows and especially when it's someone whose catalog I'm like, he didn't do this one song, and I know he's not gonna not do this one song. So people started walking away. I was already close to the front. When people started walking away, I was able to move up. I moved up and went right to the front, and I could see the band hadn't left yet. So then folks started chanting his name, Bossy, Bossy. So he comes back out, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna do this one last song, but I'm gonna need the DMV's bravest to come up and do this one part for me. And in my head, I'm already like, he's getting ready to do Lit, and he's gonna ask somebody to do J. Cole's part. And as soon as the beat dropped, I was like, oh my gosh, he's right. I was like, I'm right. Like he's
the moment.
And so like I'm recording because I love the song, and I'm going over it in my head because I'm like, do I want to put my hands up? My sinuses have been killing me the last 45 minutes. I could barely breathe. And I know that verse. Like I know that verse. Like I know that song. I love that song. I love that verse. One of my favorite J. Cole verses. And I'm like, dang, I never performed it without the words. I'm like, so I'm going over it in my head to make sure I know. So, while still, cheering and singing along to Boss's part. So he finally goes like, all right, who know our brother Cole verse? Word for word. I just threw my hands up. I'm right in the front, I threw my hands up. And he was like, yo, you got me? And I was, you gotta make sure he had his sunglasses. You gotta make sure he's pointing at you. He's like, yeah, come on. And so I remember just darting to the end of the thing to get around. So the whole time I'm going to go up there. There's a part in the song. The song is called Lit, L-I-T, Lit by Boss and featuring J. Cole on Boss's first album called Last Winter. And so there's a part where J. Cole is talking to the engineer right before he goes in. So I'm saying that on my way up because I'm like, if I can remember, if I say this, there's a part where the beat drops after he talks and then goes into the verse. I'm like, if I say this, it'll help me flow right into it. So I'm going up, dap Boss up, did the dap hug, make some noise for Hugh, hands me the mic, and I started saying, because I was still saying it. And so I started saying that part on the mic, and he was like, no, wait, I think he's going to count me in. He was like, oh, you know all that? Oh, let me get out your way. So I think he kind of knew, like, oh, he about to kill this. Because he know the intro part of the verse.
Facts.
And so, I did it and I killed it. It was the rest is history. Right. And just seeing, I could see a corner of my eye. I mean, Boss was feeling it. He was like very surprised. I definitely left a lasting impression. Mad people, just dapped me. I almost fell at the end, but I didn't fall. I didn't.
I just find that so dope, Hugh, because it's really law of attraction, bro. You're speaking things to existence, and certain things happen, bro. And if you put yourself there in that moment, you know what I'm saying? Take that opportunity. Don't take it for granted. And that's what you did, bro. And honestly, I really love that moment because I know how much Hugh really loves Boss and his artistry.
Man, and I'm still on the high from that. That was amazing insane.
Moment, bro.
Like the whole time walking back to my car, I just could not believe that just happened. Texting everybody and getting all the videos being sent to me. People were coming up to me, asking me for my number, and saying,
you didn't just do that, bro. You actually did that. It wasn't like one of the things that you just, you was up there just riding. No, you actually embodied the moment. You actually was like a rapper at that moment, bro.
Yeah, I think I told folks because some girl was like, "You was born for that moment."
Yeah,
I was like, so when I was thinking, I told my dad, it's like I've always been a literal person. And I've done karaoke before, and I've done karaoke the same way. I've obviously never performed in front of over 2,000 people at a rap concert with my favorite rapper next to me. But I've done, so like when my dad was teaching me how to be a running back, he would always say things like, okay, running backs keep their feet moving. So in my head, I'm like, all right, I'll just keep my feet moving when I run. The running backs always fall forward, they don't go down easy. It's like, all right, I'll just do that. Like, this is what you're telling me, that's how they do it, then I'll do it like that. And so for me, as someone who's a fan of rappers, when I did karaoke, I always did what I saw rappers do. Like, this is what rappers do. This is what rappers do when they perform live. And so, I just did that. I wasn't really nervous about performing. I was just more nervous about, like, do I want to put my hands up because my sinuses, and you can kind of hear I sound a little stuffed up, but like, yeah, man, definitely still on the high. I'm glad to see that people enjoyed it. I'm glad to see that, I killed that moment, and I'll forever have that moment. Like, even if nothing comes of it, like if Boss doesn't retweet me or anything like that, like I'll always have that moment. And to see that he was genuinely impressed if you watch the performance, he was like in shock the whole
that was so dope
time. So I'll forever just take the moment.
Little stuff like TNT, get in the page, you be
need anything else. Like I've always loved that song, but now hearing it, it's always gonna hit different for me. So
that's dope, bro.
This is what I had on. Somebody was like, "You should have had your GameStop." I actually had my GameStop hoodie on, but when I bought this, I didn't want to. Well, normally when I go to stores, I buy merch, and I end up holding my merch the whole night. And I was like, "Let me tie my GameStop hoodie around my waist, and I can put this on, and then I'll be fine." So that's how that happened. But again, like I'll take the moment. Like that's an all-time moment for me in my life. Like I'll never forget that as long as I live.
Absolutely, bro. That was so dope. So dope, man. Another amazing episode, guys. Episode 380, man. Make sure you guys tapping in. Hey, man, much love to you guys. More content coming soon. We out of here. Yes, sir.